Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I very welcome my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Are you feeling charitable? Then smash the subscribe button and the like button, and please do follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Yes, let's talk about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and if, yes or no, if a Fury cut of Superman 4 actually exists. But before we do that, let's put some background here. There's many film critics and Superman fans that will tell you that Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, is a piece of cack. And aesthetically, I could agree with you there. But there's certainly one element that isn't a piece of cack, and it's Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve basically saves this film. It doesn't save this film from being a flop, but it saves this film because he's still being great as Superman and Clark. And there's so many great scenes written, and Chris, co-wrote the story for this film and some of the scripts as well. He was very deeply involved. The stuff I like is back on the farm with the old, estate agent trying to persuade Clark to sell the land. When he hits the baseball, at the start when he saves the Russian astronauts, it's all beautiful. Comrade Sinatra, brilliant, hilarious, all of that. I think Lex Luthor's okay, but I think Lex Luthor is a bit of a tired concept by now because he's just that 1978 kind of dodgy businessman trying to, make money again. But, Hackman plays it well, and it kind of works because you know these guys have a dynamic from the first two movies. So you've got that. So there's lots of great elements. And I must admit, the whole double date with Superman and Clark and Lacey and Lois, absolutely hilarious. And I thought that was well written. And again, typical of that Christopher Reeve verse, where you did have a lot of drama, but you also had a lot of levity. So I thought that was great. There's so many brilliant moments. I love it when he's talking to the council in the Fortress of Solitude about helping, disarm the human race of nuclear weapons. And they say, if you do this, you are helping them become betrayed because you're literally wiping their noses for them. This is something they have to solve for themselves. Now, this is a conclusion that Superman comes to by the end of the movie. Now, how do I think this film could have been better? Listen, I love Jackie Cooper as Perry White. He was far too old. He should have gone. Now, this is what I would have done. I would have had Jimmy Olsen, a.k.a. Mark McClure, who still looked great and still at a great age, as the new editor of the Daily Planet. I would have done what Smallville did as well and have him have a brother, right? And I would have played with the names maybe, and he could have been James Olsen or something like that. So he could start as a young boy, being a photographer for the Daily Planet under his brother or uncle or whatever, Jimmy Olsen. So I would have made Mark McClure, Jimmy Olsen, the editor of the Daily Planet. Right. Then we've got a situation here with Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. For me, she's one of the best Lois Lanes ever. She is amazing. And she is in great company with the actors who have played Lois Lane. But she didn't look great. I mean, part of the problem was they didn't dress her well either. I mean, her performance was great, but she wasn't well at that time. And for me, personally, I think she shouldn't have been brought back. This is what I would have done. They decided to bring Mariel Hemingway, who is actually quite a really solid actor and did a really good performance in Superman 4, actually. So you either keep her in as Lacey, or you literally replace Muriel. You replace Margot with Muriel. And you could actually just cast Muriel, do it a recast. She's the new Lois Lane. It would have worked. She could have played it. She could have played anything. Or you just bring this new character, Lacey. It's up to you. But preferably, you need a Lois Lane. And I know a lot of the fans would have been really hurt and upset. And Chris was a loyal guy, so he was never going to do this kind of thing. But for me, Superman 4 was supposed to be a new era for Superman. They weren't happy with Superman 3. I think Superman 3 is okay, but they weren't happy with it. The fans weren't happy with it. And Chris brought everyone back. No one was going to do this without Chris, and Chris was the one who persuaded everyone to reunite and do this. And Chris saw this as an exciting opportunity to kind of relaunch Superman again. And if that did relaunch, Superman would have gone on and on and on, and who knows? Chris may have been too busy to be horse riding, and maybe he wouldn't have had his accident. Who knows? You know, it's all in the lap of the gods at the end of the day. This is the tragedy of life, isn't it? But that's what I would have really done with it. As a villain, I think that I probably would have, if it was me, I would have recast Lex Luthor. Or again, I would have done the Lenny thing, a Lenny Luthor thing, kind of thing, but I would have made him a darker character, and you could still have Hackman there, but if you like, you could have done a Lex and Lionel thing from Smallville with the nephew, but it was they were going for the jokey kind of Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor, and kind of really, the nephew was just there just to be kind of an Otis type kind of character. It kind of worked. I liked the performance. It was really good, and who would have thought the actor who plays Lenny ends up playing Lex Luthor on Supergirl, and he's done a really, really good job. So there's that. And so that's how I would have gone at it, just to freshen things up, because I believe that Muriel Hemingway would have been a great Lois Lane anyway, and she was gorgeous, wasn't she? But she was a really good actor as well. And I actually think the whole nuclear disarmament commentary, armament commentary, is a great one. Now, Tom Mankiewicz, who wrote Superman the movie, or rewrote Superman the movie, advised Chris never to have Superman dealing with things that he can solve from the real world. But I don't actually think that this is the problem with Quest for Peace. I don't think that's the problem at all. The only problem with Quest for Peace is Canon, which was a horrible company that got involved with the movie industry. They didn't know what they were doing. They lost money, millions of dollars, and they just couldn't finance Superman 4. Look what happened with Masters of the Universe. That poor director had to finance the film at the end just so he could finish it, because they were going to wrap it up and never release the movie. It was unfinished. But luckily, he sorted it out. And I love Masters of the Universe, despite the issues, the budgetary issues of Masters of the Universe. I think they did a good job. Lundgren was poor casting, but the director was that good. They actually got away with Lundgren and made sure that he said as little as possible. But he still looks like He-Man, so it kind of works, but no Prince Adam. No. Anyway, we're not talking about that film. That's a film for another time, because I've got a special place in my heart for Masters of the Universe. But anyway, so we now get on to the subject. So as far as I'm concerned, Superman 4 has got great elements about it. So it's a film I enjoyed. I remember me, my brother, and our friends went to see it. And we were looking forward to more Nuclear Man, which probably wasn't possible because literally Superman disposed of him. But basically, we liked Nuclear Man. When we came out of the cinema, we personally, as children, wasn't disappointed. We kind of knew it wasn't as long and it didn't have the depth of the other films, but it certainly worked. It was kind of like a Justice League, a Justice League, like what Joss Whedon did. There wasn't anything complicated about it, but it worked, and Christopher Reeve was amazing. And I think it was the kind of feeling as some people had after Justice League. Well, it's not great, it doesn't have a lasting effect, but it's okay, we enjoyed ourselves while we were there. There's obvious issues like the upper lip CGI on Henry Cavill. And obviously with Superman 4, you sometimes see the strings on Chris, and the effects weren't great because the budget was dumbed down. Chris was betrayed, and Chris even refused to market the movie. I remember Margot Kidder being on TVAM over in the UK and literally saying, Chris is devastated. He doesn't want to talk about this film. This was a big passion project for Christopher Reeve. This was massive for him, and they betrayed him. But for their point of view, it wasn't a betrayal. It was they just didn't know what they were doing, and they should never have been involved in film. And ultimately, Chris paid the price. Superman paid the price. Because, as I say, I believe the idea for Superman 4, The Quest for Peace is brilliant. This young boy just says, why can't Superman solve this problem? It's like when we say, why can't God just ease all the suffering? Why is there a bear bug here? Why can't God create a cure? It's a simplistic view from a child, and that's great. And I love the whole Superman says drop dead to kid. And then you see the performance of Chris as Clark, taking the glasses off, devastated while reading the article, that headline. So I love all that. And then he changes his mind and he decides he has to do this. And he makes a beautiful speech at the UN That speech, this is when I argue with people. When you say this film's crap, totally crap, sequences like that at the UN are beautiful. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better live-action Superman moment. I know there's some great stuff. There's some beautiful stuff in MOS and BVS and Superman the Movie and Superman 2, and even bad Superman versus good Superman and Superman 3. Great things. I'm not saying there's not. But that speech that Chris, a.k.a. Superman, makes to the UN is one of the most beautiful things. And it's one of the moments that you're so proud to love this character, to love Superman, and to support that insignia, as I was talking about on yesterday's DCEU Daily. Beautiful. And even at the end, when he explains to people why this is not for him, he can't give this gift to the human race of solving, nuclear disarmament, because it's not his right to do it, and he can't. It's just totally difficult to do it. And in the end, Superman tries to do it but fails. So it's good that he tried to do it and he failed, because at least he tried. And so I love the idea of this film. And I think if the budget was bigger, I think Chris and the other writers could have really written a compelling movie. Because as I say, it's a great concept. Now, there's a guy called Aaron Price who's been literally taking some sequences, like the costume when it's a bit dark, and he's been colouring it in and making it brighter. He's really been doing some really great work. And I've discovered a little movement. I think it's pretty much released the Fury cut. Now, Sidney J. Furie was a really, really good, capable, solid director. And I think he did the best that he could with Superman 4. But it was impossible. He didn't have the people on set. He didn't have the budget. He basically had a horrible gig. And then he was blamed for it, for bombing globally in the cinema. And that's not fair. Because if he had the budget, he didn't even have a budget of an indie film in the end. It was ridiculous. What they did was horrible. Because that film could have been awesome. It could have been a great end or a great beginning of the Reeves Superman saga. It could have been a great relaunch. And it would have been, if it succeeded, they would have made more. That is when we said goodbye to Superman on TV for a very long time. Until we saw Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, which I'm not a big fan of. It's not my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people love it. And I respect that. So is there a Fury cut? I personally don't know, and I actually asked, I think it's Aaron Price, sorry if I've got your name wrong, if you happen to watch this video, but he doesn't seem to know for sure. And of course, Warner Brothers do know. Listen, they've said they're not going to release every single director's cut ever, but I think it's worth a punt. If there's something out there that can be put together, I don't think Sidney J. Furie is with us, sadly, anymore. So that is very sad. I think Richard Donner's still alive and 90 years old. Well done to Dick. I mean, but anyone who could have made Superman the movie in those days so well and so beautifully, is obviously a very strong, brave man, and he's still with us. And let's hope that continues. But if there is a Fury cut, if there is a superior cut to this, obviously it's going to need putting together. It's going to need digital remastering as well. If it's possible, I would absolutely love this. I would love this for one specific reason, for Christopher Reeve. Because this, as I say, was his passion project. And I think if you love Christopher Reeve as Superman and you admire his bravery after his accident, this will be a great legacy thing for Chris and for Superman and the end of the Christopher Reeve Superman era. So I absolutely hope there is a Fury cut. Now, I don't know, with all the budgets, I mean, look, there's always multiple cuts. Multiple cuts is a thing. You take the scenes and you place them differently, and you're telling a different aesthetic, a different narrative, aren't you? So hopefully there's apparently a 2-hour cut, because another sad thing about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, the theatrical cut, is barely 90 minutes. This was a dumbed down, cheap version. So there's obvious, either someone can put this together or there is a Fury cut. And with today's technology, they could do wondrous things with it. And I think that would be massive for the people who went to the cinema. During the marketing of Superman 4, I was so excited because we haven't had a Superman film, what was it, for 5 years? Was it 83? We had Superman 3, I think it was that. So 4, 5, 6, 7. We didn't have Superman for 4 years. So, and we never thought we'd get another one after 3. So we just kind of forgot about it because they used to make 3 films back then, like the Star Wars trilogy. So we didn't think we'd be getting any more. So when we heard we were getting more, we were really excited. So that was an opportunity to do something incredibly special. And I hope there's a Fury cut because I do think that Superman 4 is a good film in terms of its story, in terms of the feeling, in terms of Reeves' performance. And if I haven't already mentioned this, the Nuclear Man's footprints is one of the most stunning effects I've ever seen, especially back then. You're talking about 1987. And Nuclear Man was pretty cool. The original concept was for him to look like Chris. I suppose the problem with that is they'd already done an evil Superman versus good Superman, but you could have done this in a different way and that would have been interesting, but it would have been similar to what they've already done. Obviously, the casting of Mark Pillow doesn't talk about Superman 4, as far as I know. I did follow him on Twitter, but he doesn't like to, because basically the guy was slaughtered for his performance. But you can only do what you're capable of doing. He was offered a role. He's not going to turn down a role in a Superman movie. I wouldn't. You wouldn't. It doesn't matter about our talent, does it? So I hope there's a Fury cut. I certainly want to fight for it, and I will fight for it. If there's a movement and a campaign out there, I definitely want to see this film. I think Chris deserves this, and if it can happen, wow, wouldn't that be awesome? Comment down below, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with more videos. See you again soon.